DNF books. That's the name? Did not finish. Yeah, I think that's it. So these are some of the DNF books I couldn't finish. They were or incredibly boring, or I just couldn't care less. The first one is one of the most popular books that I keep seeing in book talk and all that crap, and is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is a behemoth of a novel. It's like, I don't know, 4,000 million pages long. It's like the freaking Bible, this thing. The good thing is, like, I had it in my Kindle, and I was reading my Kindle while I was traveling the beautiful countryside of New Zealand like freaking 8 years ago. The problem with the book is that it's extremely slow. Like, I freaking get it. Brandon Sanderson, especially this book, is known for the very well-detailed world building and magic and characters and complexity. I get it. But the problem is, I didn't feel at the beginning that it's about, I don't know, it's just so dull and boring, and I got it. Like, there's this character who becomes a slave, and I don't remember names. I was halfway through, I just didn't care anymore. And he's a slave, and there's these bad people, and injustices happen. And then the next chapter, again from his perspective, he's a slave, there's bad people, and more injustices with the slaves. Like, I got it, and that's like for 100 pages. It just kept going on and on with the same stuff. Like, I understand the basic concept of injustices and being a slave and the problems. But the book kept going and kept going with the same things, and I just didn't feel it going anywhere. I read page after page, and everybody else in book talk, TikTok, Instagram talk promise you this book is it's amazing.
But The Way of Kings lived up to the hype.
All right, so I finished The Way of Kings this past weekend, and it just never ended. It is a very long book, so it is a commitment, but it is worth it. It really is phenomenal.
The twist I said to people, to the community, whatever, I'm not reading this anymore. This is extremely slow and boring. I just don't care. I'm reading, but I'm not paying attention because I'm so, I don't care, because I just don't care about the story. And people were like, no, you have to keep reading. It gets really good in the page 2,890. Yeah, but I wouldn't care at that point because I don't care about the main characters, the story. I don't care what's going on anymore. I'm like, I've been reading, I'm not paying attention. It lost me. It lost me. And to me, books like these that are extremely long, they just add all these things so the book is long. It's not like the story needs to be this long. It's just the author wants to have a very freaking long book. That's it. You don't need that much. I read the story and I got like the first 100 pages could be reduced to 5. And the thing is, like, there's books of Brandon Sanderson, other books that I liked. I like the Mistborn book. That one I recommend and everything. And the pace was just way better. The pace of this one, the pacing is just, man. But the internet keeps insisting this book has an amazing twist or plot development. I have no idea. They tell you have to read it. It's about friendship and honor and being the good. Yeah, all of fantasy is. Like, all of them are about that, right? About war, about the good and the, yeah, I know. About choosing and sacrificing. All of those themes have been done before. But probably, I don't know. It's just so boring. Another DNF, a book that I couldn't finish, that I didn't finish, was A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. This book is considered by half of the internet, or like 90% of it, like a masterpiece. But to me was... This thing really felt it was like an over-the-top suffering fetish for people that love that kind of stuff. Extremely dramatic, focuses way too much in the negative of life. This book is about highlighting how some lives just shouldn't exist. I feel this book really emphasizes on some people should just, get it over with. Like, your life is not worth having, worth living. I thought it had a terrible message. I do think the prose parts was good, but not that good as people kept saying. And the story was also, like, the beginning, I was quite bored at the beginning of the story because everybody kept telling me this was gonna be alright, this was gonna be super intense, and it really wasn't. It wasn't, like, once it gets to the dark part of the story, it gets intense, but it's so easy to get people shocked. It's so easy. You just use specific topics, super dark topics, and of course you're gonna get shocked. Of course you're gonna get people, upset. It doesn't take a genius to describe one of those scenes, dark, intense scenes, to make somebody feel upset. I always say this, it's harder to make people laugh. I will ask to that author, make a funny book, or make a story where nothing super dramatic happens and we still cry for your character. But yeah, no, sorry, DNF, ugh, hated it. 1 star, hated this book. And I couldn't finish it. I just know it doesn't have, like, not even a glimpse of hope. Everything is about how hellish life is. So, no. Next book in my list of did not finish is the following one. The Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. Whoa, this book, this is another masterpiece. I just couldn't finish, but I do like David Foster Wallace. I do like other of his writings, especially short stories, articles, non-fiction. But this thing is his masterpiece. This thing is his Moby Dick, his own as well Bible. This thing has more than 100 pages of just footnotes that are, some of them, extremely relevant for the story. There's more of 1,000 pages in this thing. And this is what a book that people, critics, and the readers will consider brilliant. Not fun, not cool to read, not a pastime book, not a thing that is no, it's just brilliant. So it means it's gonna be a little bit pretentious. So because the book is divided into different stories that, change dramatically the scenario, there's a lot of different sorts of language. It could be, street talk or this academic jargon, or it gets perplexing at times. There's good parts that I enjoy of this book, but also it deals with very slow moments that they get drag on, and other moments that you just don't really know what's happening. And then I just wanted to read this thing so I could brag to my friends or to people in general. I read The Infinite Jest, and then halfway through I was thinking, is it worth it just to read a book to them, brag? And no, life's too short. It's not. This thing is way too long. David Foster Wallace even got a movie where he was played by, Marshall from Friends 2.0, and he was interviewed by Lex Luthor, J.C. Eisenberg, yeah. And even him, J.C. Eisenberg, while he's reading the novel, he's like, oh crap, this is magnificent. So of course I cannot come here and say this book is terrible, because what people might say, the people that actually enjoy this book might say is that you're not smart enough, you're not sophisticated or pretentious enough to get this complex and deep novel. And yeah, they're probably right. So yeah, and definitely this book is a challenge to read, and I think that's part of what David Foster Wallace was going for. He wanted this to be a fail entertainment, so he will be very pleased to hear me saying that I found it tedious. There's long list of drugs and stuff. The whole tennis talk is freaking ridiculous and annoying too. It's just torture to me. There were great parts like when there's emotional moments with the therapies and psychologists and people are going through their stuff and their problems. That was great. But the freaking tennis, man, the freaking lists, some extremely elaborated paragraphs which only had no other point than to sound really smart, and to be like, oh my god, this author is a very academic and intellectual person. That's it. Some of the books reads like that, and that's why I don't know, I think to this day I haven't read a single long book that it's worth reading. Well, no, I'm kidding. 100 Years of Solitude, that book, every page is fantastic. But this one, I gotta say, if you want to try it, go ahead, but not from me. Thank you very much. In this life, there are books we stop reading. There are books we said, this is a DNF for me, I'm not reading a page more. And even can be books I said, okay, this was a masterpiece, it's just not for me. No, this book is a book I completely freaking hate, and everybody else says this is a masterpiece, and to me this is complete bullshit. And this book is The Savage Detectives by Roberto Bolaño, or Los Detectives Salvajes, because it's a Hispanic book. So I'm Latino, I'm excited about Latino books, right? Written in Latin America. Oh my god, what a bunch of trash this thing was. This book pisses me off. So this piece of trash has like more than 4 stars reviews in Goodreads. Bunch of praise, beloved articles about this thing. I mean, from the way people talk about this book, you would expect ecstasies, nirvana, right? And with that kind of title, The Savage Detectives, it makes you think of a very cool, intense, dramatic, amazing detective story like True Detective or God knows what. But no, And when you start reading this thing, you start to wonder, does this even have a story? Does this even have a plot? Or it's just about some random dude going around the city rambling on and on about his male member and other people's male member sizes and prostitutes and how much sex does he have and how many, and doing all these freaking long list of writers and poets of all Latin America and all around the world. Like, we give a damn of how many names of writers he knows? Sadly, yes, it's the second one. It's the kind of book where you start reading and you read and read and then you realize you're not paying attention at all to what's happening because it's so freaking boring and dull and endless and it has no point. It has no point. And everybody else keeps saying, oh, what a masterpiece. Bolaño is intelligent and oh my god, get him down off that freaking pedestal. Just check out this review. 5 stars. A book so good I had to get it tattooed onto me. Youth is a scam. Roberto Bolaño created a very special novel with the savage detectives. The novel is constantly moving, grinding slowly across years, steady and sure as a freight train, carrying the baggage of our existence towards the inevitable finality of life. During the course of my reading, people will misinterpret the title and tell me they enjoy a good crime thriller and inquire into the plot of the book I clutch lovingly in my hands. While this is not whodunit novel, it is still an investigation of sorts formed primarily through a series of interviews that leave the truth up to the reader to deduce. What a bunch of pretentious garbage. So if you want to read a book with great style, interesting moments, captivating parts, this is not your book. But if you like pretentious crap that is endless and super priced online, this is just for you. So wanting to finish with this circle of hate towards books I didn't finish, I want to talk about a book I actually didn't really hate. I mean, I didn't like it because I didn't finish it, but it didn't drive me insane crazy like The Savage Detectives did, which is a book I actually feel I hate. Anyway, the book I'm talking about is the Wind-Up Chronicle by Haruki Murakami. Haruki Murakami, in paper, is an author I should love. It always intrigued me. It sounds fascinating. His stories are a mix between realism and dreamlike scenarios, oniric moments, fantasy, psychological realism. I mean, the kind of adjectives this book gets, it's so interesting, fast. I'm really captivated about this mix of, it sounds like a Ghibli movie, you know, like Ponyo, only that with fish, there's cats. But in reality, my experience with Haruki Murakami has been mainly negative. My dog. And this book was a good example of why I actually cannot finish a Haruki Murakami novel. The premise is interesting, the story seems intriguing and I want to know what's going to happen, but it feels like it never reaches the point of the thing I actually want to read. It just gives you premises and atmospheres, but it never really delivers. The story starts with this Japanese guy just living apparently a normal, routinary life. You know, a normal setting. This is not fantasy, this is not, it's just a guy living his life. And then one day his cat disappeared because this is a Haruki Murakami book, so it needs to have a cat. And after the cat disappears, this very unlucky dude loses his wife, so his wife disappears too. So now his cat is gone, his wife is gone, and he has nobody to, be, accompanying him while he puts posters of missing cats and missing wife around the city. I don't know what I was expecting was gonna happen, but nothing really happens after that. Like, just random stuff happening in the book. He talks to people call him, everything's bizarre, everything's weird, but nothing is really interesting, captivating, or it doesn't really make sense. Even with a Ghibli movie that is weird and bizarre and abstract, there's still a cohesive plot that you get to enjoy because it has a kind of a structure and it has arcs. This doesn't do that. This just rumblings and it's super long. So until a certain point I was like, I'm done. I just don't care. Bye. Good luck with you. I don't know if this book is considered a masterpiece, the Wind-Up Chronicle, but it has a massive, it has 300,000 reviews in Goodreads and over 4 stars average. That's amazing. I mean, most books don't get that high. So this book is loved, beloved, appreciated, pedestal book. And as far as I know, the more you read, the more symbolic and abstract and weird the story goes. So there's not going to be a resolution, but everything concludes in a nicely tidy way with logic, and that you feel catharsis because all the elements made sense at the end. No, it just goes completely out the rails. So it is not my kind of story.